Hey guys, we are here with Jan Brewer. She's the Executive Director of Friends Inc. here in Huntsville. Jan, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, tell everybody what you do and what Friends Inc. does.
All right. I am Jan Brewer, and I have been with Friends Inc. now for like 17 years. We're a volunteer support group located here in Madison County. We do things such as friendly visits, phone calls, errand assistance, transportation to medical appointments. And this is for patients who are seriously ill or disabled. So that's the model that we're looking for, is those that are lacking a support system, people that actually are needing someone to help them out to be able to maintain their independence.
Okay, and so how has all the quarantine, the virus and those things, I would imagine, obviously those needs don't go away, but you're dealing with a very vulnerable portion of the population. And so how have you guys managed all of this quarantine and everything, given what you guys do?
So in March, when that first all blew up, the first thing we had to do was we made sure to call all the clients. Made sure everyone was okay, because we know that particular Friday just kind of made everyone go into a little shock of, oh, what am I going to do? And the number one thing that they all worry about is, how am I going to get groceries in the house if I can't go to the store? So the first thing we did was that Friday, we actually called over 100, I think it was 130 clients, and said, what do you need? And we went and got their grocery list, and the volunteers actually come to me, or I'd email the grocery list, and then they would go pick it up and put it on the patient's porch. But the number one thing that's really affected is seniors are not going to medical appointments right now. Right. Number one, they don't have transportation, and I can't provide that transportation right now due to the 6-foot ruling.
Sure.
So when I talk to them over the phone and they tell me about their appointment, the first thing I've got to try to do is assess, is that an urgent appointment? Are we talking getting your heart checked or getting your toenails cut? And so I have to listen to their story and say, let's just see if we can hold off on that one. Or that sounds really urgent. I can't provide a volunteer that can take you, because I can't put my volunteers in that risk. But then at the same time, try to get them on public transportation. And we're providing their tickets for that. Okay.
So, and this is a question, this is just educating me, because I actually don't know. I've never actually thought to ask this, but like you said, with the quarantine, you're not able to, because of the 6-foot rule, transport some people, but I would assume, just given what you said, that a lot of these elderly citizens they don't have families that can take them, or their families live too far away. Right. How does that work?
So when they tell me, I really don't have a ride, I'm here all alone. Unfortunately, since we can't do it, we're referring them to Uber and Lyft. Okay. Uber and Lyft is you've got a smaller place, you're in the car by yourself, you're not on a public bus. And so they're feeling a little bit more careful about that. Yeah. But at the same time, what I'm seeing happening is seniors are not going to their medical appointments for fear.
Sure. I wouldn't have thought of using Uber and Lyft. That's amazing that you can kind of use those technologies to
their children actually have to try to help that, because when you tell them you got to have the app on your phone, then boom, you've got a problem.
So there are, like, a lot of these people do have, some of their families just live too far away to be able to help them. Okay. So what are some things that people can do? What are some needs that you have now? I'll ask that first.
Okay. So since we're not doing transportation, we've really amped up, and I know it seems simple, but what we call Happy Mail. And Happy Mail is where when they go to the mailbox every day, at least they've got something, at least once a week, they've got something from someone. So I've asked, different groups to come in, and I'll give you my database. Write these people a letter. Let them feel connected, because it's so lonely being at home right now. So many people, of seniors especially, their number one outing, their place they get to go, unfortunately, is a medical appointment. And they look forward to the day that, next Friday I'm going to have to go see so-and-so doctor, because they get doted on while they're at that doctor's office. And now they're not getting that. So the number one thing that we started amping up is Happy Mail, making sure they get something in the mail. Greeting cards, just sweet little happies, anything like that they can be mailed. The other thing we do is we're doing a phone ministry now, where someone calls them and says, are you okay? Is there anything you need? And so that lets me know, hey, actually I need groceries. I need paper towel or toilet paper or whatever it might be. And the volunteer can go by and pick that up and put it on the porch.
Oh, great.
So those are the two things we've really, really amped up at this time.
So would imagine, obviously, the letters are things that anybody could do. Our people that are watching could do that. What about those phone calls? Are those things that are just done by your volunteers and supervised and things like that?
Yeah, those are done by our volunteers. Because if you had just someone else making that phone call, they might get asked a bunch of questions like, okay, when can you take me to the doctor?
Sure.
The other thing, we put together what's called a COVID care package.
Okay.
The community helped donate the money for me to purchase those, and those are the normal things like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, mask. We had over 130 masks, handmade ones.
Wow.
That were donated, and so they got handmade masks. They got just lots of happy goodies like candies and peanut butter crackers and just fun things in there. I thought if you're riding on public transportation and you're riding with someone who's not talking to you, what do you need? And so we put together little notepads and pens and pencils and just lots of things like that.
That's great.
In delivering those bags, I was able to go to a lot of homes that I've never been to before. And immediately when you pull up in that driveway or you speak to that person on the porch, I seen that there were needs that were not being met that I never knew about just by talking to the person over the phone.
Yeah.
Yards that, there was one yard that had not been cut in over a year, had to been.
Goodness.
There was one gentleman that ducked to get out his front door because the hedge was so grown over the door. But these people are in motorized chairs. They're in wheelchairs. They're on walkers coming to the door.
They just have to watch it happen.
So as I was at those houses, I thought of you, thought of Hands Free, and I started making notes, just like we were talking earlier to your interns about a hedge that's growing over, just things like that. And so I started taking notes out of all the houses that I've been to.
Absolutely. Well, and you said something there that made me think. That was interesting is you're talking about going to these people's homes and seeing them face to face. That's been the hardest part for us, because the big thing that we try to push during work camp is don't, as much as things need to get done that people that nobody would see, picking up trash on the side of the road and things like that, those thankless jobs. There's something about service, especially as Christians, that needs to be done face to face. You need to connect with people when you do it. And so, being able to put faces with names and look somebody in the eye is not just encouraging and uplifting for you, but it's definitely uplifting for them, because a bag of groceries is amazing and they need that. But when you get to go see them too, I imagine that impact is that much greater. So, so are those? So what kind of things are you guys going to be doing moving forward? Because as things start opening up, and I had a conversation with Stuart Sinyard from the United Way a couple of days ago, and we were talking about how there's a new normal for you guys too as everything start opening up. How are you guys planning to handle those kind of things? Do things go back to normal pretty quick, or are there a lot of adjustments that have to be made?
I think there'll have to be a lot of adjustments, especially with transportation, because you're putting someone in the car with you that's possibly sick. So we can't do that. We've got to be real cautious with that and make sure that we're not just keeping our patients safe, but we're also keeping our volunteers safe. So transportation, I feel like, is going to be our number one holdback. I've got to be a little bit more cautious with that. But there's so many other things, just like that bag of groceries is important. But it's not as important as the face across the bag of groceries. I think loneliness is really a big thing that we're fixing to start seeing more and more of, and I'm already seeing that just by hearing people talk. I had one lady that I delivered her bag to, and she said, "Oh, please come in." And I said, "Oh, I can't come in. I just want you to have this goodie bag and let you know we're thinking about you." And she said, "If I pull a chair out here on the porch and I put a mask on, will you just talk to me?" So loneliness is huge. How can Hands Free help with that? I think the Happy Meal is a great way.
Absolutely.
I think doing the little odd jobs of let me trim the hedge. I don't have to come in your home to do that, but they can actually see that someone cares about them. I think so much of the time we flippantly use the phrase, we want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We use that phrase a lot, and that's a true statement. But I think when you take teens into a home and to do these kind of things and to look into someone's eyes with a sense of humility of knowing this person can't do this. Yeah. I'm actually doing something for them, and I've lifted their spirits. And then the teen walks away from that, and they know that they really made a difference. That's being hands feet of Jesus.
Well, I've told you before, and I just want to share it for for people that are watching, there's one gentleman when we were trying to get him a TV, and I won't say his name online, but I have, just him having my phone number or my email and being able to have somebody else to correspond with occasionally, or I can tell that it's important to him, but I've been blessed by him as well, because there's been times when all this started, he would just call me and go, "Hey, how are you doing? How are things going?" And we would talk for a little bit, and I would be able to ask him, "Hey, how is everything? Do you need anything?" Those kind of things. And so it can be really uplifting for everybody, because it's relationships. It's not just, "Oh, let me do this good thing for you," like you're patting a dog on the head. It's a relationship, and it's mutual. So, Are there places, before we get done here, is there a place online or some place they can get in touch with you if people said, "Oh, I really want to do those things, I want to help with that stuff"?
They can go online. They can go to our website, which is just www.friendsinc.net.
It's going to be right here. It's going to be scrolling.
All right. And so you can go on there, and they can that'll come directly to my email.
Okay.
And if they say, "Hey, I really want to plug myself in with this. I want to help in some way." I didn't mention, but we also have a food pantry.
Okay.
We have a lending closet, and in that lending closet are things such as adult diapers, Depends, potty chairs, wheelchairs, motorized chairs, those kind of things.
Okay.
And just last week, it's pretty ironic, but it's like things come in and things go out pretty quickly.
I'm sure.
Someone come by last week and said, "Due to all this pandemic and everything, I'm not working. And if I'm not working, Mom doesn't have Depends." And she said, do you have any? I said, "Sure." So I gave her several packs of Depends that had been donated to us. And then as we were talking about her mom and learning a little bit more, I realized that Mom is an amputee, going to dialysis several days a week, riding public transportation, and due to her lack of insurance, did not have a proper chair.
Wow.
I had just picked up one in the van that very day.
Yeah.
And I said, "Let me follow you home."
That's fantastic.
And so the lady got a motorized chair.
Yeah.
Not anything I did. The community did that.
Yeah.
They donated it to us, and this lady just showed up that day needing Depends.
That's fantastic.
So, we have a lending closet that if anyone knows of someone who has potty chairs, wheelchairs, diapers, those kind of things, those are things that we take. I don't keep track of that.
Yeah.
They come in, they go out quickly.
Great.
So.
Well, there'll be some information at the end of this video, web addresses and some things that you guys can do. We'll put links and different things where you guys can send Happy Mail to Friends Inc., or you can drop those off, or you can mail them yourselves. Jan, thank you so much for sharing. I know the first time we tried to do this, it didn't work great, but I'm so glad that it worked out this way, so that you get to be a part of Workcamp and people get to see your face and do it in a way where maybe we can be a part of what you're doing in a bigger way this week. So
I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.